we just talked about live service games and them failing. Well, another thing that's failing is a live service game that's only on one console, which is Halo, but that's changing. So this video is by Mint Blitz, and it says Microsoft's Halo situation is crazy. And I don't know if they're referring to it potentially coming back to or coming to Sony for the first time to PlayStation, but let's see.
I could say it's just Halo as I'm a Halo channel, but let's be honest, guys, this is an industry.
Okay, wait. Play
Video
it.
games are broken. I could say it's just Halo as I'm a Halo channel, but let's be honest, guys, this is an industry-wide issue. What inspired this video was two things I need to bring to your attention. And I'm going to be 100% real here. It feels like online games, specifically matchmaking, are artificial now. The people are just along for the ride. The first thing I'm going to bring up.
This is not where I expected this video to go. And I kind of dig it. Because we always talk about skill-based matchmaking in Call of Duty. Let's see how the rest of the world's living.
Is a ranked player on Halo who got placed the highest possible rank by purposely losing and throwing every game. He placed higher than 80% of the population just by losing. Second, and this is also in the news, Call of Duty actually published their skill-based matchmaking data. The system is almost one-to-one Halo system, Apex Legends system, or even the
Yeah, it's a one-to-one system of them, but it doesn't show you it.
League of Legends system. As I said, industry standard. I also have to say I've been told by developers themselves that major corporations don't care if anyone does a video like this, as it's not enough to ever change anything. The faceless people in charge will continue, and ironically, I think in the long run, the more people become aware of this, the more pressure there's going to be put on the
Okay, here's a question. Can we consider Halo a failing franchise at this point? Like, I don't want to say that in like a rude way, but like with them bringing it to Sony, like, can we consider that at this point, or is it still doing okay? I know like a while ago there was like they said that they're like moving on to their next version of Halo, which I believe is on the Unreal Engine, and there's that. But yeah, Halo's lost its touch since Bungie left for sure, and then it worries me because Microsoft is now controlling Call of Duty, and then we see how Halo went. So,
and they're going to have to change the major problems that are plaguing gaming today. It's my goal this video educates, brings awareness, and kind of shows everyone why they have the experience they do online. If you are feeling frustrated with online gaming as a whole, this will explain why this is happening. In the past, I've spoken about major corporations hiring numerous game psychologists to manipulate the user base into extending their playtime. How many bad games
I didn't know where this is going. Here comes the EOMM.
They have to play before they disengage. How many good games do they need to have to keep them on the hook? These are all questions these psychologists have refined into the current matchmaking systems. The problem is now that people are aware of what's happening, a very large group of people now feel as though matchmaking is artificial. So very briefly, before I get into the meat and potatoes, here is a quick rundown of current matchmaking systems. Each game might have some small tweaks here or there, but loosely, this is the experience most people will find nowadays. If you perform well consistently, you will continue to verse better and better players. If you perform badly consistently, you will begin to verse worse and worse players. This sounds fine, right? Here's where it gets diabolical. If you continually play better, you will get worse and worse teammates until you have zero chance of winning. If you still perform well in the very unfair match, you will continually have those same matches. If you still somehow continue to play at that same level, you'll be locked out of playing completely with extended matchmaking time.
Yeah, I guess that is technically true. I was like listening to that and I'm like, is this wrong? But no, this is true.
If you play with friends, the system will multiply your skill levels together, meaning if you've noticed when you play with friends, it's rough. This is why. An example very quickly, I got a viewer of mine on Twitch, he loaded into some unranked games with me because I couldn't find any match.
Wayne, thank you for the 3 months. I need something. One sec. Okay, I have a theory. I just thought of it. So this isn't going to be well thought through whatsoever, but I have a theory. So Microsoft owns Halo. Microsoft owns Call of Duty. Halo guy is talking about Halo having the same matchmaking experience as Call of Duty. Microsoft buys Call of Duty, and we assume it's for all of the IPs. But Activision also has a bunch of patents to do with things revolving around matchmaking. What if Microsoft also bought Activision so that they could use the patents on the matchmaking and things like that that Call of Duty owns on their other games? Just saying.
Matches. The skill-based matchmaking was so strict, he performed horribly. The kicker here is I couldn't even get into a game without him, and then once we got a game, there was 0% chance of us winning. The social nature of what made gaming fundamentally enjoyable is gone, replaced with hyper-competitiveness all of the time. You guys are the ones who said to me, Remy, I get off work, there's just no relaxing anymore, gaming isn't what I remember. And most of you guys, my core demographic on the channel, are aged 24 to 35. Some of you might be younger, some of you might be older, but a lot of you grew up with the Xbox 360 and PS3 era of gaming.
Let's
on the
rewind
channel
a
are
little
aged
bit.
20. Competitiveness, all he performed horribly. Matchmaking
wait. Let's
to
go
some
back. Let's go back.
unranked games with me because I couldn't find any matches. The skill-based
Sorry about that.
matchmaking was so strict, he performed horribly. The kicker here is I couldn't even get into a game without him, and then once we got a game, there was 0% chance of us winning. The social nature of what
What
made
did he
gaming
just do?
fundamentally enjoyable is gone, replaced with hyper-competitiveness all of the time. You guys are the ones who said to me, Remy, I get off work, there's just no relaxing anymore, gaming isn't what I remember. And most of you guys,
I don't know what game mode that man was just playing, but that looks awesome.
my core demographic on the channel are aged 24 to 35. Some of
think
you
that's
might
the
be
same with
younger,
me.
some of you might be older, but a lot of you grew up with the Xbox 360 and
those
PS3
were
era
the
of gaming.
days.
Nowadays, it's completely different. To continue on my point, video games nowadays now punish players who improve. There's legitimately average skill players with higher win percentages than the professionals themselves. We then reach the big issue of contention. If everything else wasn't already so convoluted, the new matchmaking system already knows within a standard deviation what the outcome of the game is going to be. You can literally tell nowadays if you're going to win or lose, and if you go to Halo Waypoint, the system very accurately predicts how well you're.
This is Call of Duty. This is the same thing. Okay, my tinfoil hat thing. Dude.
Going to perform. Now here's the problem with this system, the big problem. Each map on Halo has different weapons. Each map on Halo has different vehicles. For example, me, I might be able to drop 50 kills with a sniper rifle, but without one, I'll get maybe 20 to 25. The system does not take this into account and will balance teams thinking you are going to perform the same level as that game I had the sniper rifle. If a player drops 50 kills in a Banshee, and then the next match there is no Banshee, but the system still thinks he can get a Banshee and still thinks he can drop 50 kills.
I might have to do a video on this. I don't think I've ever been so right in my life.
So then it balances the teams that way. What, are you just supposed to never use anything?
Someone's gonna have to tell my girlfriend because she says I'm always wrong. And I don't think I am this
It is
time.
fundamentally flawed in every single way. For Halo skill-based matchmaking specifically, and I think it's for other games as well, kills per minute are a major factor when taking into the account skill level. The best thing I can point out, because you're watching this video and you're seeing scoreboards where it's completely unfair on screen right now, I hope this changes your expectations while gaming to understand that it is truly outside of your control. If you do really well, you're going to get punished with a loss. If you lose X amount of games in a row, you're going to get gifted a free win. It is completely out of your hands. The best thing you can do is just switch
Man, I wonder if there's a way to prove that. I'm not even like, I'm listening to what he's saying, but like it keeps coming back to like, this is the same thing as Call of Duty. Is there a way to prove that it's the exact same SR system as Call of Duty? Like, I guess you need the numbers from both. That's the only way.
Brain off and not take it seriously. With all of that said, here is what the average matchmaking session looks like in 2025. You're a slightly above average player. Each game is sweaty. Each game is the same. Each game has terrible team balancing, forcing you to play the exact same way or you're going to get destroyed. That means you're going to match the exact same sweaty people over and over again. And only when the system feels sorry for you are you going to get an easier game. You can't play with friends or it gets exponentially harder. You can't goof off or you're not meeting the system's expectations of you, meaning
You can't
the team
actually
gets
have fun.
destroyed. The matchmaking system literally thinks you are going to play your
I don't know what
optimal
game modes
efficiency
this guy
every
is playing,
single
but they
game,
look
and any
awesome.
deviation of that equals a loss and a terrible time. I have covered it in the past, but this system is literally designed for people to try as hard as possible. It is in the
Wait. It reminds me of how Marvel Rivals grants you a free win after losing games. Is that a thing that they do? I haven't played ranked in Rivals, so how does that work?
exact published document that Microsoft themselves published. After a certain amount of games, as I said, psychologically you're about to disengage from the product, so the system will give you a carrot, a free win against
There are bots in quick play if you lose 2 games. I didn't know that.
people who just destroyed their last lobby. It's important to note that this system tries to encourage a 50% win rate. It's not on purpose by any means, but just by its very design, it's an outcome that seems to happen. Video games aren't supposed to be a second job, but to gaming companies, they need that younger audience, that very low skill rating of player, the silent majority, so they drop money on microtransactions. It's the core reason why it's very hard to change the current gaming landscape. For me personally, I have nothing wrong with the skill-based matchmaking. Each of the original Halo games, they all had skill-based matchmaking. And it all
Thank you. This is actually great. Comparing the two, because Halo's always been like that, where you could see your skill-based match. Like, you could see who you're playing against. That's why he's like, I'm fine with it. Halo's always had that. Whereas you talk to a Call of Duty player about that, they're not going to say the same thing. Like, they're just not.
worked very well. It's when it begins to be manipulative, I have problems. If you're the best in the world, you should be winning 90% of your games. A chess grand champion only having a 30% win rate is just ludicrous when you think about it. This brings me to the latest Halo example. To play ranked on Halo Infinite, you need to play 50 unranked games. This is to stop cheaters from absolutely destroying the playlist, but you need to do 50
Pretty sure Call of Duty is something like that too, but
ranked games to be able to jump into ranked. One ranked player named Bort made an account and played 1v1 Showdown for his 50 games, a majority of which were boosted with 0 kills. He then went to ranked and did his 5 placement matches, throwing every game. The game placed him Diamond 5, the highest possible.
why? Why? Okay. We know this. We know this. We know this. You need 50 MP wins to get access to rank in Black Ops 6. Yeah. But we know why. We know why this is. This plays into everything that I'm saying. If you've gotten your data for Black Ops 6, you would know that it tracks all of your games back all the way to Modern Warfare 2019 to like Vanguard, all of this. So it's not just taking into account his placement games like it should be. What it's doing is it's taking all of his data, because they've tracked everything, and using that for his ranking. So these placement games mean jack shit.
Placement. Now, by 343 Industries and now Halo Studios' very definition, they said unranked games have 0 effect on ranked playlists. The only time the system will grab from other playlists for ranked is when you first play your very few first ranked placement games. So that's what the system did. It saw he won so many of his 1v1 Showdown games, even though over half of them were boosted, and it put him into high diamond lobbies. Again, by 343's very own definition, once the ranked playlist gathers enough information of the player, the very thing placements are used for, it should correct the player's skill level and place them in the appropriate skill bracket. Dropping a 0.15 KD, kill death ratio, does not mean you are equal with those lobbies, but where does the game place the account? Diamond 5. The whole damn matchmaking system is busted. The worst thing about this is I've had numerous developers literally say the opposite of what the data has said for years. I've had people
I don't think half of the developers know.
quote the developers saying, hey Mintblitz, you're wrong, and then I see this happening over and over and over again. I've played 20,000 matches of Halo Infinite. I understand the system to the extent of even the people who designed it. The rabbit hole goes even deeper. So to take it a step further, many of you guys say to me, Remy, why don't you play ranked? And well, for starters, I got high onyx in every playlist, but why I stopped playing ranked is very simple. Because I play high kill games in social and unranked playlists, when I go to ranked in past seasons, there was instances of me losing 15 to 17 games straight. Because even though playing unranked and getting high kills doesn't affect who you match, it does affect the team balancing in the ranked playlist.
So just like
For
Call of
example,
Duty.
let's look at a lobby of 8 players including me. It takes that high skill history and will assume I'm the highest player in the lobby, even if my visual rank doesn't represent that, so it will give me the number 1. It will then take the skill levels of players 2, 3, 4, and 5, the second best to the 5th best players in the lobby, and put them onto the other team.
Oh my god, look at his team. I wasn't even looking at, oh my god. Oh my god. He played so well. Oh.
It'll give me players 6, 7, and 8 and place them onto my team. Now in practice, when you go to high rank, this means you'll see games of 15 or 1600 Onyx level players versing professionals 2300 and higher. I'll throw some screenshots up on screen so you can see what I mean. I don't really need to see anything more than that. Look at the numbers. How is it balanced at all? It is not. It's gotten so broken now that players have worked out it's in their best interest to just perform well enough to win, but to not overperform, as it'll give better team balancing next game. It's even gotten to the point that when someone knows they're going to win, they start rapidly lowering their KD so they get better team balancing next game. So not only are social playlists not social anymore, but ranked playlists aren't really ranked either. Matchmaking on the whole is a participation trophy where your skill is completely irrelevant unless it's free for all. There is no point for someone to say, haha, I beat you, because you're literally just playing into a matchmaking algorithm that's decided before the game starts who's gonna win and who's gonna lose. Now, as I mentioned at the start of the video, Call of Duty released their own data this week for certain players,
I wonder if he's got anything.
Caught my eye. Yes, the system is more or less identical to Halo and other franchises, but it actually showed proof for the very first time that there are multiple different groups of players, and each one of those groups has a very different experience. They never interact with one another. They all have a very similar KD because they're going up against different skill brackets, and it's pretty much made kill death ratio mean absolutely nothing, because you could be versing some really beginner level players and have a KD of 1.5, or you could be a competitive ranked player on Call of Duty with a KD of 1.5. There are so many different levels of manipulation to this, it is crazy. Ultimately, the problem with the entire system as a whole is that your most dedicated players are becoming burnt out. They're tired. They want variety in their games. They don't mind trying sometimes, but other times they don't want to even take it seriously. They want to use different weapons, play different classes, try to do something unique, be funny, not having to do the meta playstyle in any video game just to be able to keep up. It's even worse that if a player does decide to use the meta just to keep up, the system will continually give you worse teammates until you no longer can keep up, forcing a loss. It really is, no matter what you do, you are screwed. It's sad really, because if you grow up with video games now, it is so much worse than it was before. You really missed out if you didn't play the Xbox 360 era of Halo. It is my hope that you guys keep this information in the back of your head, so if you do find yourself frustrated, just know
it legitimately makes you feel old to say something like that, but it's true. I feel like people are missing out on this genuine gaming experience of getting good at a game. Getting good at a game doesn't feel the same as it used to.
Isn't you. It's out of your hands, and honestly, within a few matches, you're probably going to get given a free win or a good lobby. That's how I handle it anyway. Personally, I found myself getting exhausted during the Halo 5 era when I was much younger because it was so competitive all of the time. I don't feel like games should always be like that. So with all of that said, thank you for watching. I do these videos every 6 months or when new information comes out because it is so important. The better I can bring awareness, the happier you guys are going to be while playing, and that's all that matters to me. If this was informative, leave the video a like as always. Back with a very cool Halo video in a few days, and I'll see you guys later.
Okay, we came into that video with the right perspective. That was the perfect video for us to watch, because seeing that from the perspective of someone in Call of Duty has been going through this for years. It's okay, so this is becoming widespread. This is no longer skill-based matchmaking is out. It's gone. That's a thing of the past. It's engagement optimized matchmaking. It's getting you to play for as long as possible. It reminds you of participation, so trophies, a false sense of accomplishment. In a way, Yeah, like in a way, that's exactly what it is. And that's why the sense of like feeling rewarded as you start to do better is essentially gone. Like it's just not there anymore. And like, yeah, it's 100%. It's dumb. It's real dumb.